We've looked at the depth contours on the chart. Now let's attend to all the other lines. Some of these lines matter for us and some don't, but there can be a lot of them and they can get confusing. So this video will be longer and talkier than the last few. I'll focus mainly on how to identify shipping channels, but I'll cover some other symbols as well. And by the way, I'll sometimes refer to shipping channels and sometimes to shipping lanes. Don't worry about the difference. Most shipping lanes are flanked by dashed magenta lines, but these lines aren't exclusive to shipping lanes, and they come in several flavors. Where they're thick like this, you can take them as bounding a shipping lane. Thinner dashed magenta lines, like these ones, indicate any kind of regulated navigation area, so they tend to be all over the place. Here they indicate cable areas, for instance, but pretty often, such as up here in the San Pablo Strait, they're used for shipping lanes as well. Let's go to the Ferry Point area for a third flavor of dashed magenta line. This bullseye affair represents an anchorage for ships carrying explosives, and it's surrounded by a zone where anchoring is forbidden. The dashes on the outer circle have stems that point to the inside of the area, making them into little T's. This prevents ambiguity, and it's typical for restricted areas. These black long dash lines mark dredged areas. You can see them over here for these channels and for the turning basin. Back here, although the shipping lane is broad, only this narrow part is dredged. And this cool image shows the cumulative tracks of big ships. So we see that the big ships typically do take the dredge channel. This image is from the talk that a San Francisco bar pilot gave at the October 2022 general meeting. One more useful symbol. These dashed lines with arrowheads mark ferry routes. Be aware that when new routes are added in future, they won't show up on the BASS charts. Electronic charts will stay up to date. And the homework has an illustration that identifies a few additional line symbols. Okay, let's graduate to the Frightwig, that is the area around the Bay Bridge and the Port of Oakland. This is mostly an exercise in ignoring stuff. This giant purple thing is the BART tunnel, so we can ignore it. Here's the Bay Bridge. We can ignore these magenta circles. Let's ignore the ferry routes as well, since they're too truncated in this area to be useful. This thick dashed magenta line bounds the shipping lane that comes down along the city front. Ships heading down this channel for Oakland will go under the bridge, make the left turn into the bar channel, and then head into the inner or outer harbor. Suppose you want to paddle from Jack London Square out along the Oakland estuary to Clipper Cove Beach. To do this, you have to cross either the bar channel or the outer harbor entrance channel. These channels are busy and they have blind corners, and the lines on the chart are not painted on the water, so you can't see where the channels are. That is where the buoys are your friends. You can follow this line of red buoys and then cross from red 2A to green 1. Or, on this side, you can cross to green 3 and know then that you're outside the channel. Let's look at one more feature. South of the bar channel, notice this area General Anchorage 8, which is outlined by a solid magenta line. To get a wider view, I'll shift to the old original NOAA chart. Here's Anchorage 8, with the green circles marking berthing spots. South of it, here's Anchorage 9, which is the same kind of thing. Together, these two anchorages constitute the parking lot for big ships that you can see from the Embarcadero and 101. Here's the bar pilot image that shows big ship tracks for this area. You see ships going to and from the Oakland harbor and ships fanning into and out of the anchorages. Before ending, let me mention that most of these symbols look significantly different on electronic charts. However, the same information is present.